There we have it, folks. I just went over the 1,000 mile mark, and we can say the car is officially now broken in. One of the first things I did with the car was to take it down to World of Auto Tinting in Miami to get my window tint done. Just as you would expect, the dealer had the car sitting outside for some time, and they did a horrible job prepping it and removing the plastics before they delivered the car to me. So I took the car to shear detailing for a well-deserved spa to get the paint decontaminated, waxed, and protected. So here's where you get what this car is all about. The driver's seat. Starting with the steering feel. This is probably one of the things I like the most about the car so far. This is a hydraulic steering rack. Power steering, of course, but a hydraulic steering rack. So you have a direct feel of what the tires and the wheels are doing as you're driving this car. You feel the road. You get a sense of how much grip you have. So overall steering is very direct, and it reminds me of the older BMWs that I owned, like the E90 and of course my E30. Now, the next best thing in my mind is this transmission. It is just delightful to roll through the gears. The clutch pedal is just right. Not too light, not too heavy, just firm. When you combine that with this great shifter that is actually directly attached to the gearbox via a rod. This is not a drive-by-wire type transmission where you're, shifting through the gears and the computer is just telling the transmission to shift for you. You do feel direct engagement as you move through the gears with this car, and that mechanical analog feel to it. It's something that is missing in a lot of the modern, manual transmission cars. Now, in terms of suspensions, I read countless reviews where people think, the STI is perhaps too harsh for a daily driver or anywhere where roads may not be in perfect condition. I drive around South Florida. We have great roads here. I have no complaints. But the roads aren't perfect either. Now, this is the Bilstein tuned suspension, the same one that was first introduced in the STI Type R8. They kept the same and put it in this Series Gray. So it has the inverted dampers and a bit of a different tuning. So I was expecting something to be maybe harsher than the average STI, and to be honest, I believe they did a phenomenal job. It feels good pretty much all the time. Bumps are not really that big of an issue, even on these 19-inch tires. Another thing I really like about this car, there are no comfort, sport, eco modes where steering feel is adjusted, throttle response, suspension, dampers, and all of that. There is none of that here. There is one mode and one mode only, and that's just the STI driving mode, which I believe is just perfect. In terms of braking, the car brakes very well. This has the same monoblock Brembo calipers that you see on the base STI. They're just painted silver for the Series Gray model, and the brake feel is actually smooth, more than I was expecting for such an aggressive, setup. I guess the ABS is tuned just right to avoid, a hard bite as soon as you press on the pedal. And of course, they also look great. I also like this all-wheel drive system. This is my first all-wheel drive car. I do have the BMW X1, but that's really front-wheel biased and only sends power to the rear when needed to maintain traction. This is a different experience, and you can tell all four wheels are pulling at all times, especially when taking corners or driving in the rain like I'm doing right now. It does inspire confidence when you're driving in wet roads. Last but not least, the sound. That rumble the unequal length headers on this Boxer engine makes is addicting, to say the least. It does put a smile on my face every time I get on it. I don't know how much of that sound you can pick up from the camera mic, but it's just a beauty. And I like it so much that I am seriously considering getting an aftermarket catback exhaust system just to hear a little bit more of it. All in all, I have to say this car has met and exceeded all of my expectations, especially when it comes to the driving experience, which is everything I was going for on this car. And I am very happy, and it's a relief to know that companies like Subaru are still doing this. And you can still get something like this in 2019. You get the analog, old school driving experience, and at the same time you get some of those modern features that are nice to have and you've come to expect on a new car as well, like Bluetooth connectivity, Apple CarPlay, airbags all around, keyless entry, and push button start. Like, all of that is here, and it's all combined in this wonderful package. I don't think there are any other cars out there that can give you this today, especially not in this price range. I'm also aware this is a 2019 model on a Subaru generation that has been running for quite a few years now. There are rumors and expectations of the next generation WRX STI to be right around the corner, maybe even next year in 2020. But that's the thing. I don't want to wait for the next generation and risk Subaru messing up this wonderful recipe they got going here. And that's another reason why I pulled the trigger on this STI. It's just a proven build and platform that I don't think needs to get any better.